Welcome to Mainland News for Nelson Tasman region. I'm Graham O'Brien and some of the stories coming up in today's weekly regional news roundup. Dutch Ambassador opens Rembrandt exhibition, Nelson Apprentice takes out national title, journalist documentary maker Brian Bruce talks to large crowd, and more. Monday night's launch at Nelson's Provincial Museum of Rembrandt Remastered exhibition drew a large audience at the opening. The ceremony was attended by local and international dignitaries, which included the Dutch Ambassador Robert Zagman and his wife Monique.
Ia tā ingoa o te rangatira. What is the name of the rangatira? Rembrandt van Rijn. Now I better check with Aldo, is that okay, Aldo?
I would say van Rijn.
Now I'd like you all to say that because we've got an important guest amongst us who's the ambassador himself. Together.
But this is an absolutely wonderful occasion to see what I regard as probably the biggest art book that I've ever seen, and certainly the very biggest on Rembrandt, or any artist for that matter.
Tēnā koutou katoa, and welcome, greetings to this spectacular spring evening in Nelson Whakatū. I acknowledge representatives of Mana Whenua who are here this evening. And I acknowledge all of the people who are standing around me, who are supporters not only of culture in our city, but of cultural institutions like the one we're standing in this evening. Your contribution to our city is significant and ongoing. It is a great pleasure to have a man of great honour, a Knight of the Order of Orange Nassau, here with us this evening, Ado, and your wife. It's wonderful to have you here for this spectacular event. And of course, I'm delighted to welcome Ambassador Rob Zagman and his wife Monique. I think to your first visit to Nelson. I think this is your first occasion. Well, I assure you that it's like this every day. The connection, of course, between Nelson, the Nelson region, and the Netherlands goes back hundreds of years to Abel Janszoon Tasman's discovery of this remote island in the South Pacific. And indeed, there have been ambassadorial visits to Nelson before that have occurred on a number of occasions, including in 2012 for the 370th anniversary of Tasman's visit to these shores. And I am delighted that we keep those links alive between our two countries. They're important to us. In the year of 1642, as Tasman and his crew sailed around our coastline, Rembrandt was busy in his studio painting the Night Watch. Of course, one of the most famous paintings of the Dutch Golden Age. And we'll have the opportunity to see the remastered version in this exhibition. This is the 10th anniversary of the Nelson Provincial Museum. And what we've been able to do through the generosity of several of you here this evening is to be able to offer this exhibition to people, Nelson residents, for free. And that's a very special gift, so my great thanks to all of you who have made that possible. Having a museum in the centre of our city has been a remarkable success. It's brought cultural heritage into the heart of our community, which is where it should be. Ambassador, I'm not sure how long you have to spend in our wonderful region. I hope it's long enough to visit a little bit of Abel Tasman National Park, perhaps if not on this occasion, but in the future, and get to the wonderful Golden Bay. If you have time to visit some of our Arts Festival events, we'd be delighted to host you. So enjoy your stay. Monique, it's lovely to have you here as well. The door is always open to ambassadors in our city. What I have found with ambassadors is they visit once and then they return.
Tēnā koutou katoa. Greetings, everybody. It is a sunny day indeed in Nelson. so I will step aside. Archdeacon, thank you very much for your blessing, your worship. Thank you for your kind words addressed to my wife Monique and myself. There was a time when I thought that I'd visited Nelson before. It was just such a museum, and the town was called Nelson as well. But it was raining, so it can't have been. But you should be careful because so many things are exactly the same in that rainy season as this one. So, even if you had said a word, we would have come back, and we will be coming back. First, agreements have been made, and of course we talked about 375 years of Abel Tasman, 2 years from now. But today we're not talking about Abel Tasman, it's Rembrandt van Rijn. What are you laughing at? Do I pronounce the name in the incorrect fashion? Rembrandt van Rijn. I can't speak in the same elegant way as Craig Cotton did. He is an art historian, I am not. That when you say Rembrandt, anywhere in the world, almost everybody knows who you mean and what kind of works you mean. He is someone who has, and whose works have, enduring significance for all of us. The Night Watch was mentioned. The reproduction is bigger than the actual Night Watch, because part of that was sliced off. So if you want to compare the two, you will have to go to Amsterdam to see the real one, which is smaller than the one you're seeing today. And you can decide which one you like better. But tonight, we are in Nelson to view the exhibition, which was brought here by Boyd Club. I want to mention him once more. It took the combined efforts of his doctors and his family members to keep him from coming here. He really dearly wanted to be here, but in the end, he was a sensible man. I think for the first time in his 88 years, he listened to others. But when you see the exhibition, when you count yourself lucky that this man is Dutch Kiwi, because he's now a New Zealand citizen, put in all the effort to bring the exhibition here. An exhibition which I am now honored and privileged to declare open.
Nelson Tasman Civil Defence was pleased to go over their target of 23,000 to have 24,000 people register in our region for this year's shakeout exercise. People throughout the area got down, covered and held in the Clayton's earthquake, which shook the nation at the designated time of 9:15 a.m. Thursday morning. We sent our crews to cover the shakeout in Victory School and our City Council chambers. So I don't really know, because I'm a bit of a dumb adult. So at an earthquake, what do you reckon? You run outside screaming, "Mummy, mummy, help me"? No. No? What do you do in an earthquake? Okay, here you go. Okay, so, and drop, cover, hold, does that mean like if you see someone in front of you drop some money, they drop it, you cover it, and then you hold it when they're not looking? No. Okay, so what does drop, cover, hold mean?
You drop on the ground, you hold your head, cover your neck and hold onto a table.
Yeah, great. And what would you do if there wasn't a table?
Go to a wall that hasn't got anything on, like glass or books or anything on that can fall on and damage your head.
Oh, nice one. Or in a doorway. Very good.
Oh, I was going to say a doorway.
A doorway, yes. Very good. Good. And do you go home and do you tell your parents and what they've got to do and all your brothers and sisters and stuff at home? Make sure everybody knows? Yes. Oh, very good. And what about do you do anything else for an emergency? What about, do you have any spare food or water at home in case there's a big earthquake? And who does that? Oh, very good. Oh, you guys are great. And why would you store food and water in an emergency, in an earthquake?
Because there probably wouldn't be any power.
Great. Yeah, and you wouldn't be able to get to the shops. Just think, if there's no power, how can you pay? You can't use your credit card, you can't swipe. Hey, the doors won't even open for you to go inside the supermarket. And think about all the food in the supermarket, no electricity. How about the ice cream? Would that last very long? No, you'd have to maybe they'd give it away. Hey guys, that was fantastic. You did that so well. Are there any other drills that you have to do while you're at school? Yeah, okay. We'll go on this table first. What's another drill you have to do when you're at school?
Fire drill.
Fire drill, yeah. And who knows, what do you have to do in a fire drill? Maybe we'll come down here as soon as we're still on the stable. There you go.
Make a line and make your way calmly to the front field.
Okay, so make your way calmly means run as fast as you can and get out of here? No. Oh, no, how come you don't run out onto the field? Okay, who's going to go? Here you go.
Because you could fall.
You could fall, right. And everyone else run over you trying to get out. And what else? Is there any other drills? You got an earthquake drill, a fire drill?
A lockdown.
A lockdown. What is that? When you're really naughty and they're going to lock you up and lock you down? No. Oh, okay. What's a lockdown? Who can tell me?
A lockdown is when someone looks suspicious, like they've done something wrong. It comes into the school, and we were told to lock all the doors, lock all the windows, and get crowded in a room.
Wow.
And we have to be very quiet.
Are there any others? Is there like lose your lunch money drill or anything like that? No. Being late for class drill? No. Being nice to the teacher drill? Yeah. Oh, very good. That's an everyday drill, isn't it? Yeah. Once again, Nelson has shown the rest of the country the best of the best live in the top of the south, with Sean Campbell of In-House Construction taking out the 2015 Apprentice of the Year competition. The judges remarked that Sean's passion for building really set him apart and were impressed by Sean's ability to convert his passion into quality work. Chrissy Small caught up with Sean for some comment on winning the title.
Sean Campbell, I believe, you're the National Young Apprentice of the Year for the Master Builders. Do you feel any different today than you did before you were given the title?
Not really. It hasn't all sunk in just yet, but yeah.
So, Sean, what did you have to do to actually win the title?
There was an interview and there was practical as well, where they gave us a set of plans which we had to follow, and there's a lot of reading as well. Like, you couldn't just follow the plan, you had to read to understand what they wanted.
So, Sean, in one of the challenges, I think it was the last challenge, you had to build a playhouse. Now, it tricked a few people. What was it that you did that was different from the others?
Just slowed down, read the plan, made sure I understood what they were asking, and yeah, went from there.
So did some of them actually just go by the drawings rather than by the actual reading of the plan?
Yeah, some were just too rushed, thinking that they had to get it finished in a certain time and didn't take the time to read it and understand what the judges were asking for.
Right. Now, Sean, some of the contestants were actually fully qualified builders, weren't they?
Yes, they were.
And how long have you been an apprentice?
3.5 years.
And when do you finish your apprenticeship?
Hopefully the end of this year.
Right, okay. So look, your employers must be really happy with you. Is this one of the houses that you've been working on?
Yeah, it is.
And so what's your next move once you've graduated and you're a fully fledged builder? Will you stay on here, or do you think you'll go and start your own company?
I'll stay with this company and work my way into it.
Yeah. Okay, and what would you say to anyone out there that wants to be a builder?
Do it if you enjoy it, and if it's your thing, then yeah.
So it takes a lot of dedication?
Yeah.
Hard work?
Yep.
And now that you've got the qualification, does that mean a pay rise?
I hope so.
Sean, look, on behalf of Mainland TV, congratulations.
Thank you.
Smart meters in Motueka are coming, according to one concerned Motueka citizen who received a letter from Contact Energy informing him that Contact wanted to install a smart meter on his house. This man had no idea how to prevent a smart meter from being put on his house and was not happy about being told that it was going to be installed. On further investigation by Mainland News, Contact spokesperson Kapua Smith told Mainland News that Contact is one of the few electricity retailers that does not require its customers to have a smart meter installed, and that these meters are optional. The spokesperson could not say whether this was made clear in the company's correspondence to its customers. We went out and asked people their thoughts on smart meter use.
It doesn't really concern me, smart meters. Yeah. What do you call smart meters?
The ones that are sending and receiving Wi-Fi. People are a bit worried about they send out...
Yeah, that is a bit concerning, but I don't use them. I'm not a computer geek, so...
The
computers I had was in the East Dry tractors, so...
the smart meters, they put them on for your power, and they're coming around saying that, we want to put them on, but you can actually say, no, I don't want one. What do you reckon? Would you have one if you're given the choice?
Yeah, thinking about that, probably not.
Yep.
Probably not. It does make it easier to get the power checked and everything, doesn't it? But it's, yeah. No, it's, yeah.
Smart meter for your power.
Yeah.
Means nothing to me. I generate my own power with panels. I export it.
Oh, fantastic. Are you worried about, are you concerned, a lot of people are concerned about the radiation that comes from them through the Wi-Fi? There's a lot of research overseas. Do you know anything about that as soon as you are generating your own power?
No, but I think everything is on Wi-Fi generates a bit of signal around the place, like microwaves and that, so just don't strap it near your head. I think you'll probably be all right.
Like your cell phones.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, just from what I've been told and read and that, I don't want them. But that's my point of view. That's it. Health-wise, that's we've got enough microwaves floating around the place without them here too. So.
It's not just your opinion, sir. There's a lot of people who share that opinion.
It could be, yes, it could be.
No, we don't. I keep hearing about it, and I don't know if they would come out. I would probably do some more research about it. Yeah. We have children, and yeah.
Sure.
Yes, but the trouble with smart meters is that the cell phone coverage isn't good enough, so they can't be smart. They still have to come and read them.
Oh, no thanks. I'd rather, have a bill. Not prepay or anything as you go. It's just like these phones, you shouldn't topping them up. Better on a plan than,
No, because I haven't heard a lot about them. The only things I have heard about them is people that aren't happy with them. So, no, not sure about that. Yep. We haven't got one, but I suppose it might come eventually.
That's probably a good idea. I don't know. Probably depends on how many will be used and whether we really need them.
New Zealand documentary maker and political commentator Brian Bruce was in Nelson last Sunday to talk about the state of politics in one of many nationwide talks organised by the Quakers. And Mainland's Chrissy Small caught up with him at the Nelson Marlborough Institute of Technology.
Can you tell us a bit about what brings you here?
Well, they asked me to do the Quaker lecture this year, which is the Quakers do a lecture each year to do with social justice or some social issue, and they chose me this year. And I'm talking about what neoliberalism has done to our economy and to us as a people.
Right, now, I've read a wee bit about this. You're kind of pointing the finger at the Longi government and Roger Douglas's policies as the beginning of this episode.
Yeah, we've had 30 years of neoliberal governments which broadly believe that if a few people are able to get rich, that this will trickle down magically to all of us, that we'll all benefit from it. It doesn't work. It hasn't worked. We've now got a situation where 52% of the wealth of this country is owned by 10% of the people in it. And the bottom 20% own nothing of real value at all. We don't have a fair and egalitarian society anymore. We have schools that are like apartheid schools. Decile 1 and 2 kids will get through high school, and only 58% of them will get NCA level 2. But if they go to a level 9, a decile 9 and 10 school, 87% of them will get through. So there's a 30% difference at NCA level 2 between rich and poor schools. That's not fair. That's not right. That's not the New Zealand I grew up in.
No. So you're saying there should be a change now. We need to move away from neoliberalism.
We do. It's a difficult word, and it's going to be a difficult process. This isn't going to be but people are catching up to the idea that this isn't working. Yeah. We have working poor. We have people who work all week and cannot make ends meet. It's not because they're bad budgeters or anything like that. They simply don't have enough money. On a 0-hour contract, on minimum wage, they're finding it really difficult just to make ends meet, to pay the rent and the electricity and even the transport to get to your terrible job. Yeah. There isn't enough money. So what you cut back on is food.
We're seeing the rich in this country actually building huge, big homes while the poor are struggling to even keep a roof over their heads. Can the government be doing more rather than less?
Well, it's my view that if you go throughout the country and you, just as I do, and you look at the condition of our homes, a lot of our homes aren't fit for purpose anymore. They were built 120, 140 years ago. And we could actually improve our economy by rebuilding our homes. But this has to be government-led. My parents came to this country penniless. And within 5 years, my working-class mum and dad were able to build a brand new home in Spraydon, in Christchurch. How could they do that? Because the government at the time allowed them to capitalise the family benefit on me to age 18. They had to save a deposit, I think it was a couple of £1,000, and then the government lent them the rest of the money at 3% for 40 years. So that meant that builders could be engaged to build houses. Now, if you think how many people are involved in the building of a house, there's the people who do the foundations, there's the carpenters, there's the bricklayers, there's the plumbers, there's the roofers, all of those people, the decorators, and they're all got families. That's how we build our economy, but we also improve our health of our children by warm places to live. I have difficulty with this left and right thing. This just seems to me to be common sense.
Okay, so you're down here, you're talking about that increasing gap growing. What about the TPP?
What about the TPP? I think that the TPP is being sold as that, this is, if we increase our exports, this is going to be good for all of us. This is a version of trickle-down theory. If the exporters get rich, then this is going to trickle down to the poor. We're all going to be better off for this wonderful thing. Two things about that. Theo Spierling, CEO of Fonterra, generously decided to freeze his salary at $4 million this year. And I don't think I think he's going to still get his bonuses. 700 jobs in the same week were cut from Fonterra. You make money as an exporter, but you cut jobs. So it doesn't work that it trickles down. And those are the kind of issues that we need to face up to. This is a myth, this neoliberalism.
It seems to be full of contradictions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so your journey, what we know, what we say and what we do. How far around the country are you going with this?
Well, Chrissy, I thought that I was doing this once, and it's grown, and I don't know quite why it's growing. It has something, I think, to do with what Jeremy Corbyn getting elected to the British Labour Party, and Bernie Saunders gathering large crowds because he's talking about socialism. Last night, at the Transitional Cathedral in Christchurch, there were over 450 people there. It was full. What's happening is that we were talking about the working poor not being able to make ends meet. The middle class, I now think, are becoming the struggling class. They work often 2 salaries to just make ends meet, to just pay for things. There is no space for savings anymore. So people are beginning to realise there is something fundamentally wrong with this. And other people, particularly young people I'm noticing, are sick to death of the me society. And they're seeing value in the we society, that we actually might all get better off if we cooperate and we don't compete with each other to the point where it is really unhealthy for us to compete.
Brian, do you think people are getting a bit worried about the future for their kids? I mean, the way things are going, it's not getting any better. It seems to be getting harder. Is that one of the biggest movements you're seeing with those people that are concerned for their children and their grandchildren?
Yes, I do think people are concerned about those sorts of things. We all worry about our kids. Most parents want the best for their kids. And so I'm currently working on a documentary about education, because our future is in our children. What are we doing? How are we teaching our children? And one of the things we have to look at for a future economy is how is it going to be different from what we've got at the moment? Well, we know that we're going to still be making food. That's one of the things we're going to be making. But we're going to be making it with less people. Less people will actually be involved in the production of milk and milk powder, and there are going to be bigger farms, and there'll be machinery doing stuff that humans don't do. So how is our economy going to grow? Well, one of the ways it can grow is to realise that we're now in the creative age. We're in the creative economy. Look at what you and I are doing. We're making our living by telling stories. Other people are fixing our houses and fixing my car because I'm useless at that, So we're in the creative economy, and we've got to come up with smarter ways to do things. We've got to be cleverer than than China. China can make the cell phones. We need to come up with the applications. And so how do you do that? How do you create a creative economy? Well, you nurture creativity in schools. And how do you do that? Well, you don't do it by authoritarian teaching. Do as I tell you, and there's only one answer to all of this, and giving tests that try to make sure that every child is the same rather than fostering the difference in every child, the talent and ability of every child. I don't know, I'm sure that Lord did wonderfully at school and NCA and all of that, but in the end it didn't matter a damn, she won a Grammy. That's right. It's about what is your talent, what is your passion, and what parents can do is to foster the talent and the passion in their children as best they can, because that is their security of the future. And one of the things the best thing that parents can do and teachers can do is to foster the joy of learning, because we are in the business of lifelong learning now. It's not going to be like I go and pass this exam and then my future is secure. You're going to be changing. You've got to be adaptable. You've got to have a mentality that goes, well, okay, that's gone, that job's gone, but I can do this. I can teach myself to do that. So we need to teach children to have the passion to learn. And that's the core of it.
After the break, we'll bring you the latest weather update and some events and happenings coming up from around the region.
Edward Gibbon, the bathroom specialist, have a great range of bathroom ideas at their showroom at 23 McGlashan Ave in Richmond. Call in and check out some of the latest bathroom designs and fittings. Edward Gibbon, the bathroom plumbing and drainage supply specialist, 23 McGlashan Ave, Richmond.
Why would you want to pay as much as $1,000 for a single bed mattress when you can buy a high quality locally made mattress like this for as little as $220? And a queen size mattress could cost you in excess of $3,000, but at Nelson Beds you could have a mattress like this as low as $425. So why would you go out and spend a fortune on your child's bedroom when you can come to Nelson Beds and buy a complete single mattress and base set, a 7-drawer Scotch chest, a headboard and a 3-drawer bedside cabinet for as little as $979? So call and discuss our custom manufacturing options and local after sales service at Nelson Beds, Nelson's only bedding manufacturer.
I'm Francis from Nelson Auto Glass. We repair all auto glass, stone chips, windscreen replacements, scratch removal.
If you have an auto glass issue, our team will sort it.
Nelson Auto Glass Specialist, 84 Vanguard Street, Nelson.
Sit and Be Fit is on at the Victory Community Centre Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 a.m. at the Victory Community Church, 238 Upper Vanguard Street. School terms only. Fun while you get fitter, work at your level. On behalf of the team here at Mainland Television News, thank you for joining us.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.
World War I was a defining period in our history, impacting greatly on the lives of people from the Nelson province. Memories of the First World War is an exhibition which will be displayed in a number of regional venues and is currently on at the Nelson Provincial Museum.